name is Gretchen Rubin, and we thought it would be fun to talk to Gretchen. She hosts, of course, she is, first of all, she's super smart. I don't know that if you know this, but she started her career in law. She clerked for Sandra Day O'Connor, and then she decided to become a writer, and she really became sort of a happiness expert. And so she's going to give us some happiness hacks and some ideas for how we can keep ourselves, our spirits up, and be sort of, oh, there's no sound on our end. Camilla always tells me that. Thank you, Camilla. No audio. Darn, hold on. I'm kind of a moron, you guys, because sometimes, oh, there's Camilla, and there's Gretchen. Sometimes I forget to turn the volume up. Hi, hello, Boomer. Hi, Gretchen, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
So nice to see you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
And I hope I'm not yelling. You know, I always, as I said, it's so funny. I think we're all going to be engineers by the time this quarantine is over, trying to figure out all this stuff. Luckily, I have my friend Adriana. Thanks, Camilla. My friend Camilla was telling me there was no sound. She's a really close friend of my daughter, Carrie's. Hi, Camilla. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit, Gretchen, because I know you do a podcast about happiness. You've written a lot of books on happiness. You wrote The Happiness Project in 2009. You've written 3 other books: Outer Order, Inner Calm, about decluttering, Please Come to My House, The 4 Tendencies, which is a personality assessment, and Better Than Before, which is a guide to changing your habits. Yeah. So I thought you'd be a great person to talk to give us some tips on how we make this very stressful, anxiety producing, an uncertain time a little more, I'm going to actually sit on my carpet, a little more tolerable and a little happier. So what are you finding that's working for you, and what are you hearing from your followers?
Well, I think, you know, no surprise, we have to be socially distancing, but actually we need to be physically distancing, but then socially connecting. And right. I think people understand this. But it's hard because all of our usual habits are disrupted, and the kind of normal ways, seeing people when you drop off your kids at school, or when you go into the office, or when you're just walking around your neighborhood, it's all disrupted. And so we have to kind of mindfully recreate these connections. And people are using all kinds of tools to do that. But you do have to think it through and make a plan for it. And that's, I think, you know, everybody's ramping up on that.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about these social connections that we have every day, whether it's like the people you see when you're getting your coffee, yes, or people on the street, or obviously your coworkers, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, the other moms, and play dates, which are such an important, someone's, no, I'm not day drinking, people. This is ginger ale, by the way. Someone asked me if I was day drinking. It hasn't come to that yet, but, so, oh, that's, I think, a package maybe. What do you think? Anyway, sorry. But you do have to kind of get into this completely different mindset about, you know, how you socialize. And so tell me, you're saying you have to rethink it. So how do you do that? How do you replace these rituals with other rituals?
Well, one of the things is to think about, like, people that you would usually see in a group, could you see them with Zoom or house parties? So, like, I'm in several book clubs, and so we've set up Zoom meetings to check in that way.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then, you know, like doing things like doing a double date. Like, my husband and I have done things where we're like, okay, at 7:30 on Saturday night, we're gonna meet you, and like we'll both be together and we'll talk to you, and it's sort of like having a double date. One thing that's interesting is I think you have to look out for other people in your household and think, maybe you naturally use these tools, but do you need to encourage other people to use these tools, or kind of teach them how to use these tools? Or maybe there are people who are isolated, where you need to go out of your way to make sure that they're not overlooked. Because for some people, they are naturally setting up the group text and doing the FaceTime. And then also children are often using different ways. Like, they could be connecting on Snapchat or through a video game, or, you know, so everybody kind of has to figure out their own way, but it's really important for all of us to, I think we also feel safer when we feel that group around us.
I agree. And I think you also have to give people, you know, it's a lot of togetherness. I posted a funny post about uh, uh, a voodoo doll that my husband sent me. I posted on Instagram because I thought it was so funny. Another one about this woman saying, "Why are you blinking so loud, you blankety blank blank?" And I think humor goes a long way, I think, too. But what I was going to say is, too much togetherness is too much togetherness. You have to give people their space and their private time and let them go somewhere. If you're lucky enough to have enough room, I feel really bad for people who are in really tight spaces, but let them go do their own thing, because we're just not, I know we're social creatures, but as somebody said, I married you for better or for worse, but not for lunch.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because my sister and I do an Instagram live every day. And one of the things that came up was that a lot of people are starved for solitude because they're at home and there's people around them all the time. And so people feel like maybe they're going for a walk outside or staying in the shower longer than they otherwise would, because they just need to feel like they're alone. Another thing that can be great, I think walking, if you're in a place where you can still walk outside socially distanced, I can do that in New York City. That's a great way to have time alone. Or if you want to use that time to connect, I'm really loving walking and talking to somebody on the phone. It's kind of accountability for exercise, because I want to make sure that I'm getting regular exercise. And it's also a way to check in with my parents in Kansas City regularly and see what, I set aside that time to talk to them. So it's two birds with one stone.
I know that your in-laws, you're in New York City with your 15-year-old and your 20-year-old, and your in-laws are nearby. I know I don't have my parents anymore, and my mom, actually, her birthday would have been yesterday, and I miss them so much. But I also, it's a very, very, I'd be very, very stressed out about my parents, because they had the kind of underlying conditions, and inevitably somebody in their late 80s and 90 would have, and had dealt with health issues. So how do you kind of tamp down your anxiety when it comes to your mom and dad if they might be elderly?
Well, that is a big issue. And I was just saying to my parents, I'm so grateful that both my parents and my husband's parents really kind of have grasped that they need to stay home, and they can't look for loopholes, and they can't take it lightly, and they can't make excuses for why they're really healthy. They've got it, and they're staying safe, and that is such a comfort to us. But part of it is to try to speak in the language that someone understands. And you mentioned that I wrote the 4 tendencies, and that's a personality framework. And when you speak to somebody in the way that they understand, it's a lot more effective. So some people, they want to do what they want. They hate to be told what to do. And in my vocabulary, this is a rebel. They want to do what they want to do when they feel like it. And the idea that people are telling them where they can go and where they can't go kind of drives them crazy. And so you have to remind them of the kind
of... Well, it's kind of infantilizing them.
It is, and it's also just they don't like to be controlled. And and if you want to take a quiz to find out if what tendency you are, it's at quiz.gretchenrubin.com.
I'm going to take that because I'm curious.
Yeah, no. But for rebels, they don't like to be told what to do, but they want to live up to their identity. And so you can say something like, you can remind them that they're a thoughtful family member, or they're a responsible citizen, or they respect their body, or they don't want to be controlled by a virus. They don't want to be taken over by a virus and used to spread it. They don't want to be controlled in that way. And so sometimes I think you might, when you're trying to encourage somebody to behave in a way, it's easy to use the wrong argument. Like with one person, you might argue data. But what they really need is accountability. That's my obliger. Or you say to them, you must, this is the rule. That would work for me. I'm an upholder. But for other people, they're going to do it because it's what they choose to do. And so I think if you're feeling like you're struggling to communicate with somebody, it might be because you're making the kind of arguments that would resonate with you, but you're not making the kind of arguments that maybe someone else would be more persuaded by. And that's when we have to think about, well, how might we be different from other people?
How are 15 and 20, those 15 especially, that can be a tough age. Teenagers can be challenging, to say the least, and rebellious. So how are you handling oh, sorry, people are telling me to stop touching my face. I know, I try.
It's
I touch my face all the time. Did you know you touch your face between 2,000 and 3,000 times a day?
I believe it because
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I even type? I'm just so busy touching my face.
That was in Contagion, which I watched. If you want to watch, I know. Hey, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard, I interviewed them yesterday. They've watched it 3 times this week. Woo!
My
Someone's
God.
going to have to cut them off. But I interviewed the guy who wrote it and the scientist who advised him for my podcast that's coming out. Oh, sorry. That's coming out on Thursday. So it was really, really interesting. But anyway, how is your 15-year-old doing?
Well, I think at that age, there's just like this instinct to be social. Like they're just driven to be with their friends. It's developmentally appropriate is what they want to do. So for her, it's been really hard to be cut off from her friends. And of course, the technology has been amazing. She also really wants to stay up insanely late. And she was on spring break, so I sort of let it go. And now she started school again, so she's been better about going to sleep. But yeah, she was, she really feels the lack of being with her friends. And she's like, well, even when I connect with them, nobody has anything, nothing's going on. Nobody's doing anything.
Right.
But yeah.
Can she take socially distant? I'm sitting now on the sofa because now I'm uncomfortable. Can she take socially distant walks with her friends?
We live in New York City and her friends tend to live all over the place. So there's really nobody who she could go with nearby. And I don't know about other people. I would love to know what your listeners experience, but it's very hard for me to do that. It just feels too weird. I just can't maintain that distance. So when I'm walking with friends, I'm like, let's talk on the phone and I'll walk alone and you walk alone, because although it's not the same as seeing somebody in real life, I just can't manage it. And so, I mean, she could, but she just doesn't, her friends live in Brooklyn or whatever. And so she hasn't really done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard to believe that we're going to be doing this for another month, isn't it?
At least, right?
And yeah, at least. And any other advice that you think is helpful for people to kind of keep their happiness quotient up? What about, I was reading, I've actually developing a documentary series. I keep telling this for people who tune into this. They're probably sick of me talking about it. But for the last year and a half, I've been developing a series about loneliness and social isolation, which can be as physically harmful as smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. It has such an adverse effect on your health if you do feel very isolated. More and more people are living by themselves now, much more than used to be the case. What advice would you have for people who are alone? I just called a friend of mine who's in LA and she lives alone, and I just kind of wanted to check in on her. She's going for a bike ride with a friend, which I was so happy about. But, it's a lot of time by yourself.
Yes, it is. I think you see that a lot of people are adopting pets, and I think it's because there is the companionship of a pet, which is significant. But I think it is just using all the tools that are available, like setting up phone calls, doing group texts, going out if you can, just to see other people. I think a lot of times people, they miss seeing their friends, but then they also miss just quiet companionship, just like the other people in the crowded coffee shop and that.
Right.
And there's kind of like the people in the dog park. You're not going to set up a group text with them maybe, but another thing we can do is as we walk through our neighborhoods, it's like we can smile at each other and and show support and warmth, even though we're, across the street from each other.
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to wave to people in cars. And, I have a social distancing etiquette question. People are saying foster animals. I think that's a great idea if you can do that. But when you walk down the street, how come I'm always a person who walks to the other side of the street? Why does it always have to be me, Gretchen?
I don't know.
I find it.
You and me both.
I find it annoying. I'm like, it's almost like a standoff.
Yeah.
And I end up moving. But sometimes I think it would be nice if they moved.
I think some people are just spaced out. Like, I think they're just not paying attention, or they're listening to a podcast or something like that, and they're just charging through. That's what I like to think. They're just,
Meanwhile, someone said, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was going to say a funny thing that I've heard from a lot of people, and I've certainly felt this for myself, which it's sort of irrational, but there's something about creating outer order that really contributes to inner calm now more than ever. I think for people, we're safe at home, We've got more people at home at one time than we usually do. We're working together in a space. And there's something about just creating outer order, putting things away, maybe reorganizing our space so that it makes more sense for what's happening right now. I wrote a little book called Outer Order, Inner Calm. And it's funny because it might seem kind of like a trivial thing right now, but so many people are talking about how they want to get control of their space and they want to clean up and clear out and do inventories. I think there's something about this urge to prepare in an age, in kind of a time of emergency, that it can find an outlet by creating order in our space, as kind of irrational as that sounds.
I wish I had that
urge.
Yeah, that I really don't.
I wish I could come over to your house. My favorite thing is to clean other people's closets.
Seriously?
Well,
come on. As soon as this is over, come on. I mean, I think it's because I did it not too long ago, so I feel like I have sort of everything, but there's always more to do, and I definitely could clean my basement and do stuff, but you know, I'm a little exhausted. I don't know. I think I'm emotionally exhausted. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm really anxious.
Yeah.
And my daughter's having trouble sleeping. Adriana, who was just with me, who works with me, she had trouble sleeping last night. So I think we're all feeling emotionally exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some ideas for sleeping. One is to, if you can, you really do want to get some exercise, because exercise helps people sleep, fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. You want to get morning light. Sunlight is great for us at any time.
Yeah, in fact, I'm so happy the sun is shining today, because I feel like it has such an impact on my mood. Yes. If it's gloomy and gray and I don't get outside all day. Sorry, people, I'm trying not to touch my face. It's very, it can be very sort of depressing.
But that's absolutely right. And then also morning light is really helpful in helping to sort of set our circadian rhythm too. So that helps you sort of stay regulated. And another thing is to try to go to sleep at a regular time. Keep the pattern of going to sleep and waking up regular, even if it's not exactly what you would have normally. Yeah. Because it's very easy. I think it starts to be late at night. You're like binge watching a television show. It feels like, well, I don't need to get up at any particular time.
I know, but can I tell you? But
You know?
I love lounging in bed in the morning, Gretchen. It makes me so happy.
But you have to wake up to do that, right? So
but I'm sort of lazy, and I like to stay in my pajamas and look at my iPhone and just sort of be super lazy, because you can never do that when you have a busy life. And
that's true. I
feel like, somebody asked games to play online virtually with friends. Do you have any ideas for that?
Ooh, that's a great question. No, I don't. I have to confess, I don't like games. So I don't like games. What's wrong with you, Gretchen? I know. It sounds like such a killjoy. But one thing I've heard of is people doing virtual babysitting, which could be great. And so, like, I've heard of people playing Simon Says. Like, I'm on one side of the iPad and the kids are across the country. But it'd be great to know games to play with kids online too, to give parents a break. People
are saying pogo.com. Someone sent me a whole bunch of games that I think are very popular. I'll look at them and I'll post them for people. I think you can also play Words with Friends.
Yes.
Someone's asking for shows to binge watch with teenage daughters. I think my daughter loved Cheer. I thought Love Is Blind was super weird. Tiger King is super duper weird. If you want to feel normal, ladies and gentlemen, you just watch Tiger King and you're going to feel like the most normal person on the planet. We also have a game at our house called Salad Bowl. And what we do, hold on, I'll get it. Hold on.
Ooh, I'm intrigued by this.
So you put names in a bowl, you guys, and you push it. You just take little pieces of paper and you put them in a bowl, and then you play. You pull them, and you have 1 minute with your team, and they have to guess as many names as possible in 1 minute. So you pick it up, and this is Carrie's, and so she always puts really hard names in. She saved this, but okay, so here we go. Ready? I'm going to do it for 1 minute. We'll end our little chat this way. Ready, Gretchen?
I don't get it.
Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, So I'll give this as an example. Hi, Ann Keating. So I'll say she was married to John Lennon. She's still alive. They sang, and you say, yeah, okay, right, all right. So so I'm going to try to do this.
So should I answer, or are you going to have your listeners answer? I think your listeners.
No. You've got to, Gretchen. You're smart. You clerked for Sandra Day O'Connor, for crying out loud. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Will you time me, Adriana? Yeah. Okay, ready? Go. Okay. She starred in Silver Linings Playbook. She just got engaged. She's really beautiful. She lives in New York City. Silver Linings Playbook. She was also,
I saw that movie and I don't remember who played the.
Okay, pass. Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, you guys guess at home if you guys are watching this. Okay. Okay. Oh shoot. Oh, she was a teen singer. She wrote Hey Now, It's What Dreams Are Made Of. Your 20-year-old probably really loved her.
Britney Spears, Taylor Swift.
No, before that, what else did she sing?
She had her own movie.
She had her own movie and her own Disney show. There we go, Carrie. Oh. My daughter just guessed, Carrie. Oh. Hillary Duff. Carrie, you can't guess because you wrote this.
Looking at what I just realized, I could look and see what the listeners are saying. Okay,
I know.
I'm not going to look.
Okay.
I'm not going to cheat.
She's a real housewife of New York. She started a charity called Be Strong. She's done such incredible work in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I wish I had my sister here. My sister knows the Real Housewives upside and down.
Okay, short one more. She's a senator from Maine. She has dark hair. Thank you.
Collins.
Yes, thank you. Good job. All right, we're going to just do a couple more because it's fun. He started the Red campaign. He
Bon Jovi?
No, the Red campaign. YouTube.
Yes.
He wears glasses.
He wears glasses. He's totally cool.
No, it's like Bon Jovi, but that's the guy I'm thinking.
That's good. The first two letters are right.
Bono. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Bono.
Okay. I'm going to do one more. I don't know why we kept these. I don't know why Sexy Abe Lincoln is in here. I don't know. These are my daughter's friends. Oh, she's such a cute dancer and an actress and a triple threat. She's a singer. She was in what's the movie about the astronauts? Hidden Figures. She's very petite. She's really cool. Okay, you're not going to get that one. Janelle Monáe. Okay, and finally, for the grand prize, she wrote. What is wrong with me? My brain is totally.
I've got none of these.
No. She wrote. What is wrong? What is wrong? Sorry, she wrote my favorite show, The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, Margaret Atwood.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We're going to work a little harder. And Gretchen, we need to get your sister here. Is she more of a pop culture person?
She does way more pop culture than I do. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'll do one more. Okay. She's beautiful. She's on Orange is the New Black. She's transgender. She was on the cover of Time. Seriously, Gretchen? Come on, people. I know my followers will know this. 17 times during this game, I've touched my face. I'm sorry. I'm really trying not. Okay. Come on. None of my followers are getting this? She's on Orange is the New Black.
It's an unusual name. I know that.
It's not that unusual.
Oh, I thought it was. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person.
There we go. Laverne Cox. Stop.
I was thinking of a different name.
Am I touching my face? Okay. And finally, we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
John F. Kennedy.
Gretchen.
What?
FDR, baby.
Winston Churchill, of course.
No, FDR.
Oh, FDR. Okay.
Oh my God, Gretchen.
Well, what can I say?
We're gonna have to have a little practice session, you and I.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. Yeah. Am I touching my face that
much?
So
now you understand why I don't like games. I'm bad at games.
Exactly.
I don't like to lose. I'm too competitive.
No, Churchill. It was FDR, people. Churchill
FDR.
Said, "Never give up, never give in, never ever ever give in." All right. I'm not giving her hell, you guys. They said don't give you hell. Okay. Gretchen doesn't like games. I know she doesn't like games. Okay, I'm sorry that I. Okay. My friends are saying that we need to wrap it up. No practice session, but we should do this. Oh, it says you're too young to know who FDR is.
No, I wrote a biography of Winston Churchill. I know all about FDR. I just have Churchill on the brain.
I think you're just, I just think it's too much pressure. And I'm going to stop touching my face. Did I touch my face a lot during that game? No. Everyone's saying that I did. Anyway, we should do this again because it's really fun. It's such a fun game.
And I want you to take my quiz because I really want to know if you're an upholder, a questioner, or obliger, or rebel. So go to the quiz.
I think I'm probably a rebel, Gretchen.
Ooh, interesting.
I think I'm a rebel, Gretchen, because I really don't like authority.
Interesting. Well, go to quiz.gretchenrubin.com. It's super quick and free, and I would love to know if that's what you are.
Okay, I'm definitely going to do that. And thank you so much. If you have any other tips that you want to share with my followers, please let me know, and I'll put them on stories. Sure. And everyone says they love you. And post the quiz, please. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be featuring you on Wake Up Call, which is my morning newsletter. We're trying to get more people to subscribe. So if you guys could please subscribe by going to katiecouric.com. It's a great way to know what's going on without being glued to the television all day. And it's a great way, like, you need to know we have a lot of original content, and then you can basically go about your day and not spend too much time glued to the television or to your iPhone, because I think that's very anxiety producing.
I don't know about you, but I've noticed that people are pulling back from the news a lot. I think solutions like that one are great, where you know enough to be civically educated, but you're not scrolling for 3 hours.
Yeah, definitely. I have to control myself because I'm Katie and I'm addicted to my phone. All right, Gretchen, thank you so much. This was super fun. I think we should play Salad Bowl again. I know you don't like games, but you know what?
I'll have the names. And
I was going to say, you and your sister should quiz me, and I'll see if I can, I don't know, get your names right.
Okay. All
right.
Thanks for having me. It's super fun to talk to you.
Really fun to talk to you. Tell your family I said hi.
Great. Wonderful.
Okay. All right. Bye, Gretchen. Bye, everybody. Oh, Gretchen.
Yes.
Tonight I'm doing a double date with Jenny Molin and Jason Biggs. And my husband wants to bring an apple pie because he was in American Pie. It's a really dirty scene. Luckily, I never saw it.
I remember it.
Yeah. I heard about it. I never saw it. So at 9 o'clock, Gary's saying, my daughter is cracking me up. At 9 o'clock, we're having a double date. So if you want to tune in, if you like them, that would be sort of fun.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent.
Hopefully, Gretchen, you'll have something better to do.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Okay. All right. Bye, Gretchen.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh.